Perceptions and Culture by Kimberly Perlin for Colorado Christian University. Web-based social cognition is a subtopic of social psychology that focuses on how people process, store, and apply information about other people and social situations. It focuses on the roles that cognitive processes play in our social interaction. How does culture affect our perception? How does culture affect our online perception? Differences of perception across cultures, American and Asian perceptions, perceptions we may not be aware of, changed perceptions after research, and then the conclusion are just brief presentations of this topic. How does culture relate to our perception of others and ourselves? Culture plays an important role in molding us into the people we are today. It creates an environment of a shared belief, way of thinking, and method interacting among that group of people. It is dynamic and constantly changing across time. The culture you are born into will shape your eating behavior, such as what you eat, when you eat, and even how you eat. It will influence the clothes you choose to wear and the sports you play. Social norms set forth by your culture will determine how you interact with family members, friends, and strangers. Do you shake their hand when you greet someone or kiss them on the cheek? It is clear that your environment shapes much of your outward behavior. But did you know that culture also influences brain function, altering the way you think about and perceive the world around you? Just as Julian Borelli in his YouTube presentation was confused by the person sitting next to him that he didn't know because he was from a place where people don't speak to each other commonly, most of us have found ourselves in situations just like this with people from other cultures where our perceptions and/or differences have put us in somewhat uncomfortable situations. Situations that have others in our personal space or things they may say or do that are taboo, so to speak, to our social norms in America. Some cultures, much like ours here in America, have what we call a self-serving bias. People who attribute their success to themselves and failure to outside factors. People whose perception or view of themselves is overly favorable. How does culture relate to our perception of others and ourselves? Humans have an intrinsically relational nature, meaning we hold the need to be socially included with others. People tend to act in a self-serving manner, which includes the self-serving bias. So how does this relate to our perceptions of other cultures? Let's take a look at some of the differences between Asian and American culture differences. Americans' culture focuses on individualism, where our goals are more of a priority than collective. In Asia, decisions made culturally are done so for collective greater goods rather than individual gain. As you can see, these two definitions are at odds with each other. In Asia, the style of communication is quite different. In some Asian countries, a greeting involves a somber bow of the head as opposed to a loud hello and handshake that we do in America. Also in Asia, some people would simply nod on their opinions even if they didn't agree with what was being said in order to respect and honor others. In many Asian countries, when dealing with business, there is a very strong emphasis building and social networking. Before many Asians will sign any major business deals, they tend to spend a great deal of time getting to know and trust who they are going into business with, where Americans tend to regard business deals as casual and are done quickly and efficiently. In America, personal and business relationships are two very different entities, where in Asia, relationships play a big role in both their personal and professional roles. I am not surprised to find that Asian cultures have strong family ties and wills to do what is right. I have had many friends from Asian descent and have always cherished my ability to know that I can trust they always seem to have my best interest at heart as well as that of others. Most Asian cultures have the same humble values and morals, but in the Chinese culture they describe themselves as harsh, tenacious, unpredictable, materialistic, greedy, secretive, direct, suspicious, stoic, warm, xenophobic, respectful, and insensitive. While not all of these are bad and are quite similar to those of Americans, other Asian countries are quite the opposite. Some of those Asian values include love and respect for the family, integrity, loyalty, honesty, humility, industriousness, respect for elders, patience, persistence, hard work, friendship, commitment to education, belief in order and stability, emphasis on obligations to the community rather than just individual rights and preferences for consultation rather than open confrontation that are generally drilled into children from nursery school, which is a great age to start embedding these values to ensure they will stick with the children into adulthood. The Asian culture is one I feel that we could all learn a great deal from as far as how to behave appropriately and treat others with grace. Thank you for participating in my PowerPoint and journey. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.